Okay, so we're working on the 77 Highboy today, and one thing that most people update on these old trucks is the point system. So I'll show these people that don't know what that is. This here is your ignition points. I don't know if you can see real closely, right? There's your contact points on your points. And what happens is every time the engine and cam rotate around, this thing opens and closes just like that as it rotates. And then what that does is it opens and closes the contact between the coil, and it destabilizes one side of the coil and causes that to send a spark down the wire, which is then distributed to all your cylinders. And the problem is this point system, it's a mechanical system. So as that thing opens and closes, you can see down in there, there's a little piece that rubs. When that opens and closes, they call that the dwell. And so you've got to adjust that. And if you read the old service manuals, they'll tell you something like every 6,000 miles or something, you get a dwell meter and adjust the angle on that and check the points to make sure that they're open and closing correctly. So the new modern systems, what they do is they say, look, that thing's going to wear out. And the other problem they had with the point system is when this thing got spinning really fast, high RPMs when you're racing, it actually caused that spring to float a little bit. And that would adjust how long that contact was open. And that's really what causes the degree of spark. If you open it too long or too short, it causes either a weak spark or it causes some of the spark to occur here, and it wears out the points. So particularly at high RPMs, that's when these things really start to show their failures, that float of the points, and changes the dwell time. So if you're racing, you want one of these little deals here. This is a magnetic one that adjusts. It's not mechanical at all, so there's no float problems. And I bought one of these and I thought I'd pop it in. Now, if you've got a daily driver, you really don't need this. It's just more of a style points, and or it gets rid of the points and just more for not having to worry about that maintenance item. Now, the one thing they didn't tell me years ago when I bought this is that, I don't know if you can see it real good here, it doesn't fit with the coolant line that's already there. You can see it bumps into where the thermostat housing is. So after a little bit of effort and searching, I went back and found, see that right there? It's designed so that larger sized distributor can fit down in that space. So it's more than just swapping that out. Now you've got to make sure that this gets on the correct position. So you've got to get the timing right, and then you've also got to get this in the same position it was before, not 180 degrees off. So you got to get your cylinder top dead center. So anyways, it's kind of a little more involved project than I initially thought I was going to jump into. There's a few tricks about getting the distributor out. There's a little part of your distributor that actually connects to a shaft that drives your oil pump. And when I pulled that thing out, it was stuck on the distributor and it pulled that thing out. So what I ended up doing was I put a little dab of silicone right down that hole right there on that distributor and slid her back in and lined it up, and hopefully it doesn't fall in the bottom of the oil pan. And if it does that, then it's a huge pain in the butt. We got to drop the oil pan down and try to line it up. There's supposed to be a little star washer that holds that thing in, but it wasn't there. It'd fall out, but it was definitely jammed up in this distributor. So yeah, we're slowly working on this. It's coming along. I noticed a little bit of a weep on the radiator down here. I don't know, somewhere in there. So this radiator is, I got the coolant drained so I can take this thing out, but the radiator is going to be next. I think we're going to have to patch a hole in it. So project's coming along, doing well. I'll show you after this thing's installed how cool it is, but I mean, if you're not racing and if you're a young kid that's out doing this, just use your point system and just change your points every once in a while. The cost of an ignition system versus the cost of changing these points out every once in a while is not that hard. Keep a feeler gauge or actually a book of matches. The cardboard on a book of matches, a brand new book of matches, is pretty darn close to the distance you need when you're measuring the gap on this these points right there. So anyways, yeah, more to come. Hopefully this thing goes back together nicely and we got the ignition system working again.